You published many books and worked in trade magazines as an editor. What can make an engineer a well-versed writer to document his or her professional work and share it with others via publications?
These days, engineers and scientists must be able to communicate well. There's just no doubt about it. It's a skill that you have to have if you're going to succeed and have a valuable career. The way to be able to learn to write well and to speak well is to be willing to do both very badly for a while. There's no substitute for practice writing, and there's no substitute for getting up in front of a group and speaking. So oral presentations, lab reports, papers, and those kinds of things, they provide an excellent way to get started learning about writing. Another way is to pick up a copy of this book. This is called On Writing Well by William Zinsser. I don't know Zinsser, and I've got no financial interest in his book, but it's an excellent introduction to writing, and there are sections in here on technical writing. I find, though, that a lot of people are taught incorrectly to write. They're taught to write in engineering school in the passive voice, for example. You've got to write in the active voice to keep people engaged in your stories. There are lots of other tricks to writing, too, but that's one that engineers have to unlearn. You may say, well, I'm not going to write a lot of reports. Well, maybe not, but you're going to have to explain to your boss what you're going to do, what you have done, what you plan to do. You've got to explain to perhaps a board of directors what your company is doing. You want to go in front of venture capitalists and get some money to do projects. You've got to be able to write well and communicate well. You've got to be able to get up in front of an audience and give a presentation without PowerPoint slides, just to do it and feel natural doing it. And the only way to do it is to practice, 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 and have people critique your work realistically. That really makes a difference. When an engineer comes and talks with me about a story that they're working on or an idea, you can always tell when they've had some practice, when they've done it, when they've been writing for quite some time, and they've had people critique their work. So that's the key to it. Just practice, 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 just like anything else. You've got to be willing to take your lumps at the beginning to be able to do it well later on.
Are you currently working on authoring or co-authoring any new books or other publications? Since you have been so prolific in your own writing, what drives you to this kind of activity?
What drives me to write? I guess that's a pretty good question, isn't it, after I've been writing for so long. I like to explain things to people, plain and simple. I like to get up in front of a group and teach them about something. It's just a very enjoyable experience, and I take that into the types of articles and books that I have written and continue to write. I like tutorial materials that really get into the details and help people do their job better or learn a new technique. Now, that's pretty much what drives me, and it's been driving me for a long time. I expect to continue to write for as long as I can, whether about electronics or various other things. I just enjoy putting words on paper. As far as other projects go, a friend of mine, Tom O'Hanlon, who's the owner and CEO of C-Level Systems, and I wrote this book a while ago called the Digital I/O Handbook. It's a short publication about some of the ins and outs of computer systems and how to get things to control and sense things. Tom and I have a couple of other projects in mind, and I've got some other non-electronic writing projects in mind too. As I've said in answer to questions before, there are only 24 hours in a day, so you have to choose what projects you're going to work on. I just enjoy the writing challenges and enjoy writing. It's a lot of fun.